Hey guys, welcome to Sunday. So let's just give this a shot and see how we go. Hopefully on your iPad, on Google Classroom, you would have went through the sound cards that I provided the video for. Then open up, you should have opened up and moved up to uploaded to Notability our worksheet. And this is the same basic kind of worksheet that we used every day in our workbook. So I'm gonna have you write in there just as we would normally on a day-to-day basis. So we are still on lesson 12, but I'm hoping that this is going to be our last time on lesson 12. Maybe by Friday we can do a mastery check because we have been reviewing this for quite some time. So all of these materials and these sounds should look and sound familiar, okay? So on that document, make sure that you have labeled lesson 12, and you can always write review underneath it. And then you're going to want to write the date. So it's 3/18/20. Okay? So you did the cards. So that's section 1. So section 2, it is spell sounds. I'm going to say the sound. I'm going to give a pause a few seconds, and then I'm going to write it. When I pause for those few seconds, what I'd like you to do is get it written on your document, which is in Notability, okay? Then check it as I give you the right spelling of it. If for some reason you have something different, please rewrite it 3 times, just as like we do normally in our class period, okay? And if you get it right, still write it 3 times, because remember what I always say is that the more we do it, the more the brain remembers, okay? So our first sound is skr. Skr. So the first sound is skr. Okay? Make sure that you have those 3 sounds. Okay? If you don't have this, cross it off and then rewrite it, please, 3 times. Skr. Okay? The next sound is thur. Okay? Go ahead and write that in your notebook. And it should look like this. Thur. So if it's not looking like this, then cross it off. And then everyone, please rewrite it 3 times. Thur. Thur. Okay? Our next sound is spul. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds there. Go ahead and write spul, as in splash. And it should look like this. Okay, if you don't have something like that, cross it off and rewrite it. I want everyone to rewrite it, please, for permanency. Spul. Okay? One more for space, because I'm running out on my board here, is squaw, as in squeeze. Squaw. Okay? Or squash. Squaw. So go ahead and write that before I write it down. Oh, that's a funky cue. Squaw. Squaw. Okay. Okay? Make sure you have that down, and what I want you to do is say those sounds out loud. You can always whisper them, but the thing is, I do want you to be saying them because it is that multisensory piece. The more your brain's going to remember, okay? So even if you're in a room and maybe your sister or your brother is there, just whisper them, okay? They won't know, they won't care, okay? Skr, thur, spul, and squat, okay? All right, now what I'm going to have you do is pause the video, and then I'm going to have you can pause me for a few seconds, and then I'm going to have you pull up the document that is also on Google Classroom under, I think it's the classwork, not the stream, but the next one, the classwork. And you're going to be opening up to page 67, so that's that document there. And we're going to be reading the first row going down, okay? And this is the same sheet that we're going to be working with for the whole week. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll be just kind of moving down on the different columns, okay? So the first column, read with me as we go. Okay, ready? Rusty, rested. Make sure you're saying them out loud. Badly, blower, boxes, army, called, gladly, singer, spilling, dashes, roomy, asked, hands, shortly, sweeper, porches, stuffy, jumped, madly, joiner, tossing, and passes. Okay? If you stumbled on several of those, what I'd like you to do is just rewind or reread them one more time. Okay? Because it's going to help you in the long run the more you read them. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is pause me right now. Read the list one more time. Thank you. Okay. Now that you've unpaused me, now we're going to move on. So moving on to section 4, and that is spell words. So again, in your document that you have uploaded to Notability, that you are going to use your finger and you're going to scribble on section 4, just like we would do typically in school. You're going to do this here. Now, I am going to pause and give you a few moments. I'm going to say the word. I'm going to touch spell the word. I'm going to pause, and then you are going to write the word. Okay? Then once you write the word, then you can check up here to make sure that you have it correctly. Okay? Then I'd like everybody to write it 3 times. And I'll give these prompts as we do it. Okay? So the first word we're going to practice is shrimp. What word? You need to repeat it. And let's touch spell it, please. Sure. Okay? Now let's write it. Sure, that's your blend. So it should look like that. Shrimp. Okay? Copy it 3 times, please. And saying the sounds as you do so to make it permanent. Sure. Sure. Okay? Shrimp. Next word that we're going to practice is fudge. Repeat. Fudge. Let's touch spell. Okay? Fudge. Make sure you write that, please. I'm going to pause for a few seconds, and then I'm going to have you check it to make sure that we have it correct. Okay? Make sure you say the sounds as you write it, please. J. How did I know that it was going to be a DGE in that word? You're right, because there's a short vowel right before it. So if you have that short vowel and the DGE ending, you've got it right. So make sure that if you have something different, cross it off, please, and then rewrite it 3 times, please. And fudge. Okay? Make sure you have it written 3 times for permanency. Next word is blender. What word? Blender. Let's touch spell it, please. B-L-E-N-D-E-R. Okay? Now let's write it. Make sure you write it. Check it with mine. And if it's wrong, cross it off and then write it again. And everyone, please rewrite it 3 times to make sure it's permanent. Blender. B-L-E-N-D-E-R. Okay, make sure you have that blending sound in there and then the ending sound. Blender. Okay? Blender. Okay? Make sure you have that 3 times. Okay? Thank you. All right. Just because of space, and we're trying this out for the first time, we're going to just move on now to our sentence. So that is still written in section 4. So underneath, you should have lines for a sentence. Okay? I'm going to give you a sentence. I want you to repeat it back to me. Then I want you to write it. Okay? And the sentence is, throw the ball to home plate. Repeat that sentence, please. Throw the ball to home plate. Write it, please, and make sure you're watching for capital letters, punctuation, and spelling. And neatness, too. Neatness counts. And I'm going to see if I can just squeeze it up here. Throw the ball to home. I'm going to squeeze it over here. Plate. Okay. Make sure, I'm going to pull this up so I can get some of the visual out of the way here. When you check this over, make sure that you have that capital letter for T. Throw, make sure you have that punctuation. It could be a period, or AJ's favorite, an exclamation mark. So it could be either one of those. Could be somebody yelling it very excitedly, throw the ball to home plate. Or it could be just a directive, too. So it could be just a statement. Throw, make sure you have throw spelled correctly. The ball to home plate. Okay? All right. So this last section is a review. And what I'm going to do is take this off. Oh, where can I'm going to learn to write smaller next time. Otherwise I'm going to go through too much paper. Okay, so just as a review for this week, we have, so on section 5, remember, we're going to write our sound, and then we're writing a few examples. So maybe if you just want to go going across, that's fine too. However you want to, and be able to fit that in, okay? So that first sound that we're going to review is a double O, and that can take a couple different ways of sounding. But this way we want to look at it as in book, okay? So on that first little line, you're going to write O-O, making the sound. Remember, you're going to say the sounds as you do so. And the first word that we're going to do is book. B-O-K. Okay, make sure you spell them as well as you write it. Okay, another example of the sound is wood. W-O-D. Okay, wood. Okay, it has the sound. And then a next sound that we've done a couple times already is aw, and that's with the A-W. Aw, as in law or saw. So go ahead and write saw, law, and maybe one more, jaw. Okay? And keeping this boat moving along, ear, remember that looks and sounds like just like the word ear, and then the side of your head, ear. Okay, that makes ear, that sound, as in the word ear, or near, or year. Okay, and the next sound that we've reviewed is O, and we're making that sound as in coat. O-T. Okay? It also kind of follows one of those rules that the first one does the talking and the second one's silent. Doesn't always happen that way, but in this particular pattern it does. And soak, oak. And the last one, goat. G-oat. Okay? All right, tomorrow's lessons are going to review the last 1, 2, 3 sounds in this unit, and then we will move on to, maybe we'll do the mastery check either Thursday or Friday, okay? We'll give it a shot, okay? That's all I have for you right now for this lesson. I do make sure that you need to be reading, okay? Make sure you keep on reading. Okay.